First things first, if you're a mod, you can ignore most of what I'm going to say. I'm going to be voiceovering. I'm going to record a voiceover for this whole video to categorize the tips and tricks I tried attempting using during this video. The beginning isn't even the run I did. There's only one false start here. So yeah, I'm recording this for people who are new to the game for some reason, uh, mainly for the comprehensive list and for reference for me. If you're new to the game, the very, very basic things you'll need if you're on a laptop is DxWind, OBS to record videos, or you can use Xbox. You'll need LiveSplit, and you'll need RTSS frame limiting stuff, or just anything that limits frames in a game. You can even use your computer hardware if your computer hardware allows for you to limit frames. So yeah, that's just the very basic stuff and what I wanted to talk about before the video really started. And after here is when my run starts and when I'll start the timer on screen. I'm not looking at the timer on screen right now, but it should be running. So, for Apple, there are 4 potential good spawns. 3 of them are on the right side, and 1 of them is on the left. I've started aiming on the right side because, thinking about there's like a 75% chance you'll get it first try, kind of. It's kind of bad because the fastest you can knock out an apple is in 4 hits, whereas on the left side it's 2 hits. And if you get lucky on the left side, you can even angle it and knock out 6 leaves on the right side afterward. So you could knock out 3 very, very quickly in a potential run. But for consistency's sake and for my own sanity, I've started aiming on the right, and more runs have survived. You also do the celebration skip. Now, celebration skip is hitting the arrow in the bottom left corner, clicking yes, and skipping the celebration. You click yes after Twyla's paws are fully in the air. Fully in the air on the first turn, because if you don't, then the whole minigame will reset. Now, for Bird, there's really not much you can do. The only trick is to move Barbie strategically. So if you're on the edge, like after you feed the bird, move to the middle. If the bird's popped up, move to the bird. But if no bird is popped up, just move to the middle. And if you just fed a bird in the middle, either stay where you are or just move over to the other middle bird. Because if you just move to the edge after you're in the middle, then it could be like on the opposite edge, and that'd be a pain. So yeah. And then in this one, you also do a celebration skip. You do it after Genevieve starts moving to put down her basket. Like, she doesn't even have to put down her basket, she just needs to start moving. And that's like after the flute drops from the bird.
The babies will be fed in no time at all. Yeah, we fed a baby magpie. Way to go!
Also, I don't plan on talking much in this, unless I'm going to comment on something stupid I did. Because I want this to be pretty educational. So you can see I did it as soon as she moved. I was a bit slow, but The flute segment, I missed the cycle here, and this is a very easy cycle to hit. As long as you just make it along these paths without falling, you'll hit the fast cycle. It's kind of silly to call it a fast cycle because it's just like the normal cycle. However, I did miss it, so I'm counting it as a cycle. Because it is possible to miss, especially early on when you don't know how the physics work. But this was just kind of a mistake. I mean, it was a mistake. But in general, this is a very, very easy cycle to hit. And throughout this video, I believe the lines I take are really clean. I won't claim they're perfect at all, but I cut nearly every corner I can that, you'd assume there's an invisible wall, but there's none, So I cut most of those corners, and I feel like I do well enough. So yeah. Just kind of keep that in mind as you watch the video and the routing I take. I've run the game a lot, so I feel like I've gotten sort of some good paths down. Again, though, I haven't timed alternate paths, really. except for a few cases. So I could be wrong. In the flute segment,
Hey,
you use your
look at
mouse and
those
move puzzle
cute little
pieces. The puzzle
rabbits.
pieces are finicky and they don't like to
Look,
stay in
the
place.
birdhouse. Oh, what a
However,
beautiful sight.
it's still easy. And this one is also a celebration skip. However, from here on out, every single celebration
Look,
skip that
the
I
twice.
mention, you can skip immediately after the puzzle is done. Every single one of them. So don't wait for any animation, just skip it as soon as you
You
finish the puzzle.
great job. That piece fits perfectly. Try another piece.
And after this, I
Great
go to
job.
Cat's Revenge.
That piece
That's
fits
just my layout
perfectly.
because I
Try one
like
more.
going from hardest to easiest, and I believe Cat's Revenge is more difficult than the lily pad puzzle. However,
We should
every
search through the.
single top 2 runner besides me has a different layout,
This
so,
archway will take us.
it's really all opinion.
This.
Um, the one most new people take is northwest,
We need
south,
to
east
collect as
because that's just the
many magic
order
charms as
to
we
go in the
can.
circle. But
The
Spytex, he
crystal streams
does
are beautiful.
well, uh, Spytex and Sean both do lily pads, then Cat's Revenge because lily pads is on the
Twilight
left
should be
side
around here
and Cat's Revenge
somewhere.
is on the right side, which is the typical pattern for every other
Looks like
segment.
we're heading the right
However,
way
this
for
is the
Twin
only time I
Torch.
break that pattern because it's already difficult. And Barbie, Genevieve, she's the last princess anyway, and she's a middle gem. So no matter what, you're breaking the pattern. Might as well break it more.
This path will take.
So, the first crystal jump here, it's very simple,
Let's
very
keep
easy.
searching. We're sure
The
to find
second
the
one,
elixir.
it's easier to hit pink
Great
first. No
job.
matter if you're new,
We're
it's
doing
just easier to hit
great.
pink first. But you can take a
We
safe
need to
route
find
or a
a way
risky
through
route.
these
In this video, I
crystals.
got the risky route first try, but the safe route is when
Great
you walk
going.
along all the
Let's see if
crystals,
the
no
elixir
extra
is through
jumping except for
here.
the end, because you have to jump
Use
at the
the
end.
arrow keys to guide
But here I
Genevieve
jump from
around
green
the
to
crystals.
yellow
These
immediately.
crystals are
Maybe you
beautiful.
could potentially make it from the yellow to blue to orange immediately. I've never been able to do it without her glitching out.
Good job.
Because that
We'll find the
section, you
elixir in
slip
the
and slide all the time.
spinning
It's really
engine.
difficult to get
There
first
must be a
try,
path
especially
coded
when you're
for us.
new. So I got pretty lucky with the risky jump there. Getting that saved about 10 seconds probably. And I'm going to say time amounts, but I really don't know the exact amounts. When I say times
You
like
and
that, I'm
Twyla are
generally pretty sure,
amazing.
but
You're doing so
again,
well.
take it all with a grain of salt.
Keep going. We have to
um,
find the
for
elixir.
this mini game, you just have to practice a lot because you have to hit
You
space
and Twyla
everywhere,
are
whether you're ducking
amazing.
or
You're
jumping.
doing so
And the
well.
hitboxes are larger and smaller than you would think.
To
Now, let's talk
Good choice.
about
That sure
hitting
is a
escape to
pretty
skip
dance.
cutscenes. I haven't mentioned
Good
that,
choice.
but every
You're
single
going to
time you've
make a
seen like a little bit
wonderful
of an
dance
animation and
show.
just cut away,
Good
I've been
choice.
hitting escape.
That sure is a
You
pretty
hit escape
dance.
for nearly everything in this game. You hit escape when you enter rooms, you hit escape at the end of minigames, you hit escape here to skip tutorials. That works for nearly every cutscene. The cutscenes it doesn't work for, we have celebration skip now. So yeah, the best technique to hit escape, it's so it's kind of silly there's a technique, but there is. You don't like just mash it as quickly as possible. You kind of get a rhythm, like so mash every half second maybe, something like that. Because when you mash quickly, the game just says, "No, screw you, you're listening." But when you mash sort of paced like that, it listens to you more often than not. Also, music and sound effects are off because I want my load times to be good, and it pretty much worked. My load times are pretty great. P is for pause. That's not really relevant for a speed run, but if you're playing IRL and you want to hit
We
pause,
should search
just
through the
P.
archways. We have
Again,
to
they don't
find the
tell you these
elixir.
controls in the game, but you have to do
This
it.
archway will take us to
Make
the
sure
crystal.
for Lilypad
Twilight.
you have your frame limiter on and set to limit the
We
frames
need
at
to
below
collect as many
220,
magic charms as
whether
we
that's like on
can.
your computer hardware or with an external software thing.
Let's
Have
keep
your frame
going.
limiter
We have
on.
to find the
This
vial
is
of
the reason I was
elixir.
unable to do this speed run
There's
in
so many
2020 and
crystals.
2021 because
Trying
I
to get
didn't know
anywhere.
the fix because before this,
Watch out!
lily pads would freeze and glitch
Looks like
up
we're heading the
because I
right
guess
way
it
for
tries to go
Filigree
above 220
Throw.
frames or something. I don't even know. But yeah, that's how you fix it. Have your frame limiter. That's why you need it for this puzzle. Now, let's say you have it.
We need
There
to
are
find
pressure
a way
plates in
through
this
these
game,
crystals.
and these are the only two pressure
Let's
plates
keep
that work in this
searching.
way.
We're
You
sure to
hit
find the
escape
elixir.
quickly, and then you'll need to sort of circle around. Like as you leave, just make a circle around it and walk on them more. Because sometimes the bird interrupts Barbie, and then Barbie can't speak, which doesn't trigger the animation apparently. So yeah, that's why I just make a circle on them.
Watch
So
out
I
for
could still
bullets!
escape
Watch
quickly
out for
and still leave
bullets!
quickly, but make sure the stairs and gate have triggered.
Brutus alert!
Also, here you
Head for
stand
the
on the edge.
stems!
You
Head
can't
for the
stand
stems!
like at the base of that. You just gotta stand there. And this isn't really a trick jump, but like it's,
Keep a good watch out
good
for the
routing. Good
princesses.
routing, like I said. To get all the lily pads in one cycle, aim your flower so
Keep
it's right
going.
next
We're
to
doing
like the lily
so
pad coming
well.
down,
We'll
and that
find the
generally
elixir
works.
in no
Here, I
time.
didn't
Come
actually get
on,
lily
let's get
pad
to the
first
spinning
cycle because
area.
I'm honestly
Be
kind of
sure
bad at
to
this
have a
game,
task wait to
but that's
help
what I
you.
usually do. Here, I think I just like didn't aim. Yeah, like I
All
didn't click
right.
and
Good
yeah, it was a
throwing.
mess. And after you miss
Throw.
one flower,
You'll
there's
have
no
this
point
rinse
rushing too
just in
much
no
because
time
you'll
at
have to,
all.
you know,
Excellent
do it again
throwing.
anyways.
Ex-
But I think most people are better at this mini game than I am. I'm not very good at video games in
good
general, so that's why I
throw.
have so
We'll have
many tips because it just, I had to learn a lot.
to take
Okay.
to. This is
Um, you'll notice
good
the
choice.
princesses have
You're going
gems.
to make a
For
wonderful
some
dance
mini
star.
games, the
This
princess
dance
is
star
different
show
at the
will look
end. For
beautiful.
others, the princess remains the same.
This is going to be an
Every Dance Dance Revolution princess, which will be my split listing and you'll see which ones are those, they're always the kid princesses, so the gem remains the same. And Barbie's gem at the very end remains the same because she's Barbie. For every other princess, there are 8 princesses after that, the gem is randomized 50-50. So in the North segment, there are 2 princesses, and one of the 2 will be for that mini game. I'm going to list them off here, but to really truly memorize them, it's better to just have a chart or just like memorize it. East side, which is the side I'm finishing up, is orange and red. West side is blue and green. North are the bottom 2 in the middle, kind of hard to explain, but they're like the square and circle ones, like purple and blue. And then south is pearl and yellow. Okay, so next we're doing the
we need to
west left
search
side Dance Dance Revolution. The so
this
on the west segment, the left and middle side are kind of
this.
difficult. If you're having issues there, definitely just practice the platforming because you'll lose a ton of time if you can't practice the platforming. Here, I
Hey, a
actually messed up the
bronze
key
key.
jump, but then I
Let's
got it right the
collect it.
second time. That's because when you try to jump
This
straight,
path.
as you saw, you often get toe stubbed, but when you jump along that
We
corner,
need to
you
put a
don't get
little
toe
thought
stubbed.
into these
Also, you can skip
platforms.
that spinning platform like I just did. I just jumped from the rock to the other rock. That's the only place I know where you can do that like that, so it's kind of cool.
It sure
In
is
all the
pretty up
west
here.
segments like this, you can generally jump from one edge to the other without staying on the fat part of the platform. Like you can like use the fat part, use the skinny part,
Watch
etc.
out for bullets.
And
Let's
in
keep
like some
going.
segments you can just
We
use the
have to
skinny part
find
and
the
make it.
vial of elixir.
Again, I'm not going to list all the things here cuz I didn't really do very well,
Watch out for
but just
bullets.
like watch a
Watch
really
out for
clean run of the
bullets.
west and you'll see
We
the
might
areas that
need
I'm
to wait
talking
and
about or just do it yourself. Okay, so there are 2 cycles here. There's a fast cycle and something I'm calling the second platform jump. If you miss both, like, okay, so let's say someone gets both,
It's so
a
magical
358,
being
for
able to
example,
float
gold
through
that
the
you're trying to
clouds.
beat. um, they'll like be like,
Watch out.
I don't know,
We
basically,
need to
let's say
put a
that's
little
their
thought
gold.
into these
They got
platforms.
that because they got the fast platform and second jump.
Brutus alert. Keep
Missing
going.
fast
We're
platform
doing
loses
so
10 seconds.
well.
Missing the second jump loses 6.
Quickly, collect the gems.
I
Robotic
missed fast
machine.
platform
Standing on this.
because I fell too much. And like I played it way too safe. That's why you need to learn the West segment really well. So you don't have to play it safe or just get toe stubbed. And if you do like all of it right, you should get sub 4 minutes, barring slow load times. Sorry, Spytex.
Uh-oh, monkey
The
business
second jump
coming
is
in.
pretty difficult.
Collect
I
the gems
actually
and
get it in this video.
the right path
You
has to
start
be
in the
followed
middle
to
and you
be
aim
saved.
right. I don't know how else to describe it. Just use my video as
Let's
reference
head
and then practice it. I'm not really consistent at it. I think I just got lucky. And also,
We
Fast
have to
Cycle,
keep
which
on
is the one I
dancing if
missed,
we're going to
is
stay
definitely
farther.
easy to get.
All
I was
right.
just incompetent
Dancing is
in this
so
run
much
through. In this
fun.
run, I was just bad at the platforming this time.
Your
And you
timing
saw
is
the
perfect.
mistakes, they were pretty
Dancing is
obvious.
so much
When you don't make
fun.
those mistakes, it's pretty simple
Keep
to get.
dancing.
And it
We
is
have to
forgiving.
find the elixir.
I'd say it's like a medium to like high-ish difficulty, but probably more
We have
medium.
to keep on dancing if we're going to
On
stay
all the
farther.
Dance Revolutions, you do the celebration skip immediately.
That's the way. Keep
So every
going.
DDR section, it's celebration skip,
Keep
which
dancing.
again
We have to
is
find the
after you
elixir.
finish the minigame, clicking the arrow, clicking yes,
We
and then
have to keep on
escaping, and
dancing if we're going to
whatever.
stay
That's how you
farther.
do it.
All right.
You do escape to get past like
To
the gem loading and Barbie talking to them.
This is going to be an awesome dance show. This is going to be an
Momentum is
awesome
crucial in this
dance
whole
show.
game. You saw in the West
This
segment how
dance
I didn't
art
have
show
much
will look
momentum and I
beautiful.
wasn't making good jumps. If you have momentum, you have the platforming down pat basically. Also, it hasn't really been showcased here as much, but walking backwards is pretty good in this game. I didn't do it much in this run at all, but I have done it in a lot of previous runs. I didn't do it this time because I was like kind of being casual. Oh no, I was mainly trying to get to the Barbie split at the end to get a gold. So I wasn't worrying too much about the little things. But when I'm really focusing hard, I walk backwards on a lot of the platforms, like the button pushes specifically that I do. I didn't do it in this run, but that's not because it's better to turn around, it's just because I was lazy and didn't want to focus and actually try to think about the pathing. Okay, so West
We
Middle,
need to.
I call it the gay segment because it's just a rainbow thing. The
This art
jumps here are still pretty difficult. They're similar to the first segment, but they are definitely easier. I will say that. They are more punishing too, though. Additionally, you need to remember the key
this
placement.
path.
I haven't been mentioning it much, but anytime a
Let's fill
key
the
is not like
key.
directly in
We
front
need
of
to
you, you
collect
just
it.
need to remember it because you'll have a run where you forget where the key is or you miss it or something and you just feel so silly. So, for the west segment,
Wow, we can
for
see the
middle and right
light.
side, they're on the left, like of the circle. Pretty simple thing, but you do lose
It
time
sure
if you
is
forget where the
pretty up
keys are
here.
at. Also, when you turn effects off,
Hey,
you
a
can't hear
spinning
when you pick the
wheel.
key
We
up.
need to
So if you
find
do
a way
turn
to
effects
cross
off,
it.
just make sure that
Hey, these
you're good at
platforms
picking
are
up the keys.
spinning. We need to
You
keep
just
our.
walk into them, by the way. You don't like do anything special. This is
All
YOLO
right,
jump. I got
these
it first
platforms are
try.
fun.
As long as you platform fast in the main area after loading, just go to the right side and
Looks
jump,
like
and
the
that's
bridge
worked out
is
really
coming to
perfectly for
us.
me. But
Just a little
if you're
more
kind of
practice.
slow, just sort of jump and pray. It's not the hardest jump to hit, but when you miss it, you like miss it
That's
three
it,
times
sir.
in a row. Also, there's a really cool thing there. So,
Looks like we'll need.
after you get past the initial platform you jump on, again, you don't want to fall off the initial spinning platform because falling
Keep
off that
going.
spinning
We're
platform
doing so
takes you back to the very
well.
beginning of YOLO
We'll
Jump.
find the elixir in
Anyway,
no
though,
time.
if you touch the arrow on the one after that, on the bridge that comes down, you spawn there, even if you didn't land. So, pretty cool. That's why I was able to just walk backwards. Jump extra here. I got toe stubbed, as you saw.
Let's
When
keep
you jump
going.
extra, that
We
doesn't
have to
happen.
find the vial of
And it's easy
elixir.
to get toe stubbed here when it shakes. It's just a lot, a lot. For the mini game itself, you'll see there are
Good
clouds and there are
job.
gems.
The steps sure are
Um,
high.
a gem appears after every 4 clouds,
All right,
and
a
the rainbow
steady
ends on the
hammer.
color pink or magenta, whatever. I have a DM. Okay.
You
Anyway.
sure have a steady hand. We'll reach the top of the rainbow in no time at all. Keep
And I'm
going.
saying a
The
lot of
rainbow
things.
can't be
I'll
too
have my
far
notes
away.
in the description, just as like a link you can look at. I'm basically reading it
Good
verbatim,
job.
so
You're doing
if I
great.
misspeak
Keep
or am
going.
unclear, you can just look at that as the video's playing, or just in your own
All
time.
right. We'll reach the
Not that I expect
rainbow in
anyone
no
to really
time
read
at
it, except
all.
for me, but sorry, mods, if you're actually listening to
You
all of this.
To take the
And again, for the Princess Gem thing, it's better
to
just
take
to make a chart or
Great
to memorize it
choice. A
yourself.
perfect dance
Um,
move.
because,
Great
the
choice.
positions are
A
more important than the
perfect
color
dance
because there are
move.
like 3 different blues,
Great
you know?
choice. A perfect dance move.
Each dancing segment, these segments are about 60 seconds when you include the dance selection process, roughly. So, if there were a run that where you could edit out all the cutscenes like this, that would save 12 minutes alone, and it would change everything about the PC category. Once I get like a really good time, or maybe I don't know, maybe I'll do it to my other game. I might try to remove the cutscenes from the save file. I think it would just crash the game because I'm, not good at stuff like that. But yeah, it would be very interesting to see what a cutsceneless Barbie 12 Disney Princesses would look like. I think it'd be pretty wild. Pretty wild. Now, we're going to the last West segment. This is a
We
fireworks,
need to search for
which I'll talk about more later. But in this
this
West
arcade
segment,
with
there really aren't a lot of jumps. Maybe in the beginning, I can't remember. Also, look at this cut. Ooh, cut through the grass. That's the only place you can do it in this segment, like
this
go in the
path to
grass.
take us to my show
And it matters.
fireworks.
Yeah, the only jumps here are just simple ones. There are no circles.
It
This is
sure
also
is
the segment
pretty up
with like
here.
the miniature maze. It sounds a bit silly, but you do need to memorize the maze because it's not complicated
Whoa,
at
this is
all. But I definitely got lost the first couple times I ran this game because the camera isn't very helpful. On these
what is
platforms, you just
crazy.
run, don't
Platforms
jump,
are
because you're
spinning.
never going to make
We
fast
need to keep
cycle.
our eye on the far
No
side
point
to get
in trying to
across.
jump and be extra. This is the bush skip.
Keep a good
Uh,
watch out for the
yep,
princesses.
boom, no
They
invisible
may have
wall, you
found
can
the
just jump.
vial of
Kinda
elixir.
funny. It doesn't save any time, because the brown platform comes at the same time. Now, if you're pretty good at the game, or just even average, you should make this every time. But if you miss it, then
It's so
what you
magic.
can do on the grass platforms is, at least the first set of grass platforms, is you can make it when they're in some pretty wacky positions. So you can potentially, oh, they're not grass, I'm sorry, rock. You can make the first
Let's
rock
keep
platforms
searching.
when
We're
the
sure
first
to
one is
find the
like
elixir.
horizontally sideways and exactly that position, and
We
when the
need to
first one
put a
is
little thought
the
into this
second one, excuse
platform.
me, is vertical. But as you saw, you
Come
cannot
on,
do it
let's
for the
try
second ones
again.
because you'll never have enough momentum and it'll never be in like the right place. Because momentum is very important to make that kind of jump. That's only
Good
important if
job.
you're already on a
Perfect
bad
timing.
cycle and just want to save some time,
Hey, look, a
but
spinning
it's pretty
disc.
neat,
The Golden Prince
and
said we
I
need to
discovered
look
it
out
as a
for them.
child, so I think it's very important.
To play.
For fireworks segments, as you saw, I didn't put any fireworks in. All you do is click escape quickly, as always, and click the star one time. Once, do not click anywhere else on the screen, just click the star one time. And it'll eventually end after like 15 or 20 seconds, if I'm correct.
To take.
And that's all you need to do for all the fireworks segments. I call a lot of segments
Way
fireworks
to
segments,
go!
even though
A
they're like, oh, it's the
fantastic
water
dance
show
move.
or whatever,
This is going to be
but
an
they function the
awesome
same,
dance
so
show.
I'm not renaming them.
Good choice. That sure is a pretty dance.
um, you can download like the minimum version of this game, like when it asks you the download size, and that makes it appear in windowed mode automatically if you're really desperate. Um, I found that it's really awkward because the mouse still leaves the window unintentionally since it's just minimum mode. But something special about that mode is that if you really mess up your game, and I don't know how you have to mess up your game, but if you really mess it up to the point where the textures and graphics are glitching out and you can see all the raw edges, after you do North Princess 1, you can get Barbass. And it's crazy and awesome. And if someone can find a consistent way to make that would be amazing. Now, speaking of Princess 1,
The
we're going
only
there,
way we
North
can get
Princess
back to
1.
the kingdom
And it's just
is
called that because it's sort of a habit, and also because that skip is called Princess 1 skip. Since uh, typical layout
This
used to
path
be
would.
northwest, southeast.
This
Um,
platform
so
will take
there,
us
you have
to
to
the
make sure to
top.
get the key and jump quick. Well, first of all, escape quickly using the technique we
It
talked
sure is
about, just
pretty in
tapping every half
here.
second, basically, to skip the dialogue because while she's talking, those platforms are moving, and it is
Let's keep
possible to miss
searching.
that
We're
platform
sure to
purely
find the
on that.
answer.
Make sure to get the key because if you don't aim fully for the right, you can miss it. And this is Fast Princess 1. So what you do is jump at
This
least twice.
platform will
3
take us
times
to
could
the
work
top.
also.
Let's head for the
And then
spinning
just
emblem.
run
There
and
could be
walk
a
on the
princess
platform.
waiting for
Do
us.
not jump on the platform. Do not jump. Only jump on the platform if you like fell off a lily pad and you really, really want to try and make Princess 1. Also, it's important to go to the left side to
All
make
right,
Fast Princess
we
1
collected a
because the
sprite.
right side, it doesn't work that way.
Way
You need
to
to go to the
go!
left
We
side
got
to
a
make Fast
sprite.
Princess 1 and be perfect on
All
that
right,
platforming
we
and jump
collected a
twice as you head
sprite.
up. I know I said
Keep
that, but I just
going.
want to repeat the jumping is very important. And I have made it jumping before.
All right,
It's pretty
we
difficult,
collected a
and you
sprite.
need to like jump from further back if
Way
you
to
want to make it
go!
like
We
more
got a
diagonal,
sprite.
less horizontal. But
All
yeah, you
right,
can make it jumping. It's just a lot more difficult,
way to
and
go! We got a
it's
sprite.
just you're pretty much screwed if you're not prepared or skilled in making the jump. And I'm really not. I think I got lucky the
All
times I made
right,
it. In the last segment of Waterfall, as you can tell,
way to go!
I'm
We
just
got a
seeing the
sprite.
yellow sprites as they pop up and positioning before they even come down, which saves a little bit of time in comparison to the other
What
segments.
to take to
When you miss
This is
Fast
going to
Princess
be an
1, you lose about
awesome
10
dance
seconds,
show.
you know.
Good choice.
And
You're
I'm
going
saying
to
all the
make a
times,
wonderful
these
dance
times aren't
show.
all deal breaker
Good
times.
choice.
Obviously, some of the
You're
stuff I've
going to make
mentioned
a
I missed in
wonderful
this
dance.
video and still got record, but I'm just kind of saying the times. One thing that's important to note is that I live in the past, and there might be an auto hotkeys thing for this eventually. So as of right now, you have to use arrows, space, escape, P for pause, um, and that's like and your mouse to play this game. You can play with controller, but you still need to use mouse anyways. So basically, unless someone makes a hotkeys thing where you can use WASD and like Q or something for these functions, that's how it will be. So keep that in mind if you're watching in the future and for some reason there's an auto hotkeys.
The
The key
only
for
way
this
we
segment, North Middle Firework, is very annoying. The best case
this also
scenario is jumping in the middle,
w-
getting the key without stubbing your toe, and dying by walking kind of sideways. I did
this
it in
path.
actually a record, I believe. I just sort of like
The
fell
water
off.
in
I
here
just
is
slipped.
crystal
I
clear.
don't know how I did it exactly because you
A
stub your toe
golden
a lot when
key.
you try that.
I'm sure we can use that
The
somewhere
more
around here.
consistent method, which is exactly what I did, is
The elixir has
jumping,
to be
getting the
around
key
here
after stubbing your toe
somewhere.
once,
Keep a good
and then
watch out for the
jumping off,
princesses.
die.
They may
It is possible to go backwards and like platform perfectly after you
keep
get the key and not die, but it just takes longer if you're even a little bit bad at it, and jumping is just a
Come
lot more
on,
consistent.
let's head for the spinning emblem.
Here,
It's
and
sure to
from
have
here on
sprites
out,
waiting
it
for
doesn't
us.
matter if you go right or left to make it to
Watch
areas. It's the same. And I am going to talk about one segment where I think going right is faster, but I haven't timed it, and even if it is faster, it's not a significant amount at all. So after this, just go left or right to your heart's content, whichever direction feels good to you.
to take we to play. Great choice.
And I
A
talked about
perfect
most
dance
of
move.
the miscellaneous stuff,
This
honestly.
Dance Star show will look beautiful.
Yeah.
Way to go! A fantastic dance move.
Also, um, I have my splits laid out where it's like sub-split, so I know which direction to go. So if I know I'm going north or south,
The
I can hold
only
the up
way
or
we
down
can get
arrow
back to the
immediately.
kingdom
That's
is
just
to
kind of a fun fact. Not really a technique, more obvious, but yeah. So this segment, so there is a fast
this
cycle,
path
and
will
it
take us to
requires like a
Ballet
low to
B.
medium amount of skill. Once you understand how
Keep
Barbie
going.
platforming
We're
works, in
doing
this game
so
anyway,
well.
you should be able to get it
We'll find the
fine.
elixir in no time.
Um, it's not like the most difficult,
Hey, a
but it,
bronze key. Let's
I
collect
did
it.
really well there, and I like just got there. If you fall twice, you're missing fast cycle. Walk on the platform if you can help it, and I like walking on that one. You can jump, and it's not
Look
like
at
a
this
horrible risky jump, but if you fall, then you have to restart from the very beginning of that platform. So yeah, I just like walking to feel safer.
wicked
I
monkey!
didn't do very
Let's
well
keep
platforming
going.
here at all,
We have
but
to
I
find
jumped
the
from the
gold
second one and didn't
elixir.
go to the middle. You do not need to go to the middle unless you lose momentum,
Today,
in which case, just go to the middle and make the safe jump.
we have to keep on dancing if we're
And
going
this
to
is
save
DDR,
Father.
so there's a celebration
All
skip
right,
immediately
dancing is
after
so
you finish
much
the minigame.
fun.
And these don't
Keep
have any music,
dancing.
so it's
We have to
horribly
find
awkward.
the elixir.
And I don't plan on talking much unless it's for information.
Your
You can
timing is
tell my
perfect.
voice is dry.
Dancing is so much fun. We have to keep on dancing if we're going to save Father. Keep dancing. We have to find the
But I
elixir.
hope it's kind of clear why I organized things the way I
We
did.
have to keep
You
on
can tell in the
dancing if we're
beginning I
going to
was a
save
lot more
Father.
inconsistent with the things I got, but from here on out, I'm generally more
Keep
consistent
dancing. We have to find the
with my
elixir.
skill because these segments are just easier, straight up.
We have to keep on dancing if. All right.
Also,
That was so much fun.
during like the DDR, you can
Love to
like
see.
with your left hand do the arrows and move the mouse with your right hand
Great
to
choice.
the
A
to get
perfect
to the
dance
arrow
move.
to get the arrow in position.
This is
So
going to
then you
be
can
an
click it
awesome
immediately and
dance
then
show.
move your arrows while you're clicking it
Good
with your mouse.
choice.
Move your
That sure is a
left hand
pretty
back to the
dance.
escape key and then do that. That sounded confusing. So left hand on arrows, right hand on mouse, get mouse over arrow. Then as you're clicking on the arrow at the end of the minigame and clicking yes, you move your left hand to the escape key to skip the gym animation and Barbie talking. There. That's not really a trick, that's, but I'm just kind of talking about how I did the things I did. And after this, we're going to the south. Yeehaw. Uh, just a note, the south is by far the easiest to master. Uh, if they wanted to make the game perfectly, what they should have done is made it to like where you had to go in the order of south, north,
I,
west, east. Like actually sort of locked it. Like, oh, this door requires 3 gems to unlock,
let's
stuff
head
like
for
that. I'm glad they didn't, but if I were designing the game, that's what I
this
would have done.
archway. This is. Twyla has. Uh-oh!
So this
Mommy
is another
Ninja's
Dance
coming
Dance
in!
Revolution,
Select the
and
jump
there
and
actually is a trick
clear!
here that's a bit
Hey, a bronze
difficult
key!
if you don't know how
Let's
to do it.
collect it.
Once you learn how to
This
do it,
path will
it's
take us to
really, really
dance
simple.
and step,
But
strut,
at
and
first, I was
sway.
like missing this trick every time.
Oh, oh!
Because as you'll
Get ready
notice,
to
a lot
jump!
of the
We're
platform
doing
tricks you have
great!
to walk on the platform and not jump, which is sort of
Let's
the
keep
opposite of
searching.
how a lot of
We're
games
sure
are.
to find the elixir.
So I go on
Let's
the
keep
right side
going.
after
We
this.
have to
I go
find the
left here
gold
because it feels more
elixir.
fun. But after I leave this platform, I go on the right side and I hug the right edge. This is the time I think going right is
Uh-oh!
faster
This is
because it's
huge!
easier
I
to
can
jump
smell.
here earlier and be near the right quicker. So I feel like it should be faster going right after that. But I haven't timed it, and even if there is a difference, I don't think it's a huge amount. Now,
Keep a good watch out for the
from here on out,
princesses.
when you see a button platform, they work normally. It's not like the lily
Come
pad
on,
puzzle where you
let's head
have
for
to
the
like walk
spinning
on it a bit
emblem.
extra.
It's
They
sure
all
to
work
have a
normally.
task
You just
waiting
step
for
on them
us.
and you can walk away immediately after hitting escape. So what you do is you walk on the button and
Dinosaurs!
just walk
Great
backwards.
jump!
That's it. Escape quickly, walk backwards. You only jump if you feel like you've gone slow, but even then it's, walk if
The
you
dance.
can. You don't have time to move the camera, you have to walk backwards. Barbie goes where you
We have
go,
to
not
keep
where the
on
camera
dancing
goes.
if we're going to save Father.
And that's kind of a
All
lie,
right,
because like, the
dancing
camera
is
does
so
affect her a
much
bit, but
fun.
basically, if you point her in a direction, the camera will follow
Their
her,
timing
not
is
vice versa.
perfect. Dancing is so much fun. Keep dancing. We have to find the elixir. That's
And
the
this is
way.
Dance Dance
Keep
Revolution, so
going.
there's celebration skip at the end. Yeah. My
All
notes here
right,
are pretty sparse
dancing is so
because
much fun. We
everything
have to
here
keep on
I've either talked
dancing if
about
we're going to
before,
save
the jumping
Father.
frequently, escaping, technique, all that
Keep
stuff.
dancing. We have to find the
So there's
elixir.
really not much new to say. The only thing I will say is you're really floaty in the south
We have to
section.
keep on
Like,
dancing if we're
the
going to save
game has
Father.
you float over large platforms, so that's why some things look
That
kind of
was
fake,
really
honestly. You just float more. It should have been first because they clearly made it the easiest on
good.
purpose. So,
This is going to be an awesome dance show. Way to go! A fantastic dance
also, I'm
move.
just going to say now,
Good
I believe
choice.
there's one other potential glitch in the Barbie segment at the very end, and uh, you can like somehow skip. Oh no, basically it could save 10 seconds, but I don't even know if it's a real thing or if it didn't work. You know, I don't know. I'm not including it in this video because I haven't seen anyone do it. Like, I think someone did it, but I don't know if it was actually true or if it's like a thing. I never got a clear answer about that, and it seems really vague and not figured out yet, so it's not really worth mentioning here. I mean, I kind of know what it is, but I don't know how it works at all, so I couldn't even explain it very well.
What?
Something to keep in mind too, as you've noticed, I just go left, middle, right.
Let's head for the.
Uh, I don't mind breaking the pattern for the east segment because it's already messed up
This are.
naturally. And here, even though some segments are harder than others in areas,
Twilight
it's
has.
still not really worth it to change the order because you'll just confuse yourself. Because it's a 50-minute speed run, or like 53, 54 minutes if you're just learning the game.
A golden
So
key.
it's hard to
I'm
concentrate
sure
for
we
that
can use
long
that
and like think
somewhere around.
clearly. It was a big
Let's keep
decision to even change the
searching.
order of
We're
the
sure to
layout
find the
from
elixir.
east west, north south,
Great jump. You're
but
doing
it
great.
seems to be working out fine.
We're doing.
Again, having it be sub-splits, like everything be sub-splits, really helps because you can
We
just
need to
see
find the
where everything
elixir
is and which
if we're to
direction you should be
save the.
going. I do not know which button order is the
Whoa!
fastest.
Monkey alert! Monkey
Like
alert!
when
We
you
have
press
to
the
find the
buttons, I don't know if it's
elixir. Let's
faster to
keep
get
going.
to the bottom first, then the edges, or whatever. No one's really tested it out before, and I don't think it would make a
Watch
difference.
out for the
However, if it
Lotus!
does, definitely will change to doing that. And this is another fireworks segment, so it's just escaping and clicking star quickly.
Uh-oh!
And the star, fun fact,
All
is
right.
right above the compass, like literally right above the compass. You'll see. Pretty cool.
To play. Pre. The lights sure look
Also, I
pretty.
didn't do every
You've done
trick
an
in this
awesome
video,
job.
but you can like skim the other world records. Most of them got these tricks, like at least one of them, probably. Because, as I said a lot in this run, I am not a TAS. I was pretty sloppy in the beginning and I was close to resetting a lot because I mean, it really was sloppy. I missed the very first cycle
Way
I
to
could
go!
miss,
A
you know?
fantastic
Like,
dance.
I usually reset there, no matter how good the
Good
beginning was.
choice.
But I
That
just kept
sure
going.
is a pretty
I
dance.
am not a TAS,
This is going to
and
be
neither
an
is anybody
awesome
else.
dance show.
So, Spytex and Sean probably got different tricks. You'll just need to watch their runs to see which ones they got if you want reference. I will say, Sean got the west side fast platform and right jump, so definitely watch his video if you want to see that. I haven't gotten that in a run yet. Also, if for some reason someone's watching this and they're not in the Barbie Discord or anything like that, currently I have a community goals sheet.
Let's hit
Uh, I don't know what the progress on that is like or if anything's
this
changed to
are.
it at all, but if you wanna look at it, I'm probably gonna link it below.
Twyla has
But if you
already
run the
found a way
game
through the
and do
cave.
well, just
Let's
ask
see
for
if we
editing
can
permission and
find
I'll
her.
give it to you. So,
A
yeah.
silver key. We need. This path will help us play Find Twyla. We need to find the elixir if we're to save the king. We're
And
doing
again,
great.
I think I take
Let's
pretty good
keep
lines all
going.
throughout this video.
Keep
I
going.
don't do
We're
anything
doing
egregiously
so
horrible,
well.
for sure. Go left first. It's very, very easy to forget, but just go
Good
left on
job.
that
We'll
platform.
find the elixir
And that's
in
an
no
area where I
time
could
at
have
all.
walked backwards because Barbie goes where she wants to go. The camera
Keep a
follows
good
her,
watch out
but
for
I was
the
just feeling kind
princesses.
of lazy.
They may have
So I
found
did
the
not go
vial of
left. I did
elixir.
not go backwards. I just
Twyla
turned
should be
around.
around here
Well, I turned
somewhere.
around because I've been having bad luck with that lately. I've been
We're
turning
doing.
too early. So I just played it safe.
Keep
I
going.
have never
We're
fallen
doing
through the
so
hedges, but I
well.
did as a child,
We'll find
so
the elixir
be
in
careful.
no time.
Twyla always spawns in the same place.
Yeah,
So
let's
right
go inside
three,
and see if Twyla.
right side, three up. Or, two down, however you want to look at it. And then after that, she spawns left three, left three.
The
Now
vial
my
is.
mouse is there, but like it's not actually in that spot. It's there. But after this, the left three is in the exact same spot my mouse is in. I may move it just a little bit, but you can keep your mouse perfectly still and you're fine. I kept it still actually, and you can see. Escape immediately. This is the last celebration skip. Last celebration skip of the game. So after this, no need to worry about the arrowing
Great
anymore.
choice. A perfect dance move.
The Barbie
Great
segment, and
choice.
it's just
A
an endgame
perfect
segment, you
dance
can call it a
move.
lot of different things.
This
First of
dance star
all,
show
I
will look
keep it all
beautiful.
together. Some people split the fireworks after her dance, but I just keep it all together. So it's all Barbie. It's very long. The shortest time is like 8 minutes, like 57 seconds, I believe. That was actually this time. But Sean got it in his run, 8:57, and Spytex got like 8:59. But that's the quickest anyone's ever done it. So it's very long. And the fireworks, even if you split it, they're only 23 seconds. Basically, buckle up. A lot of the time in this run comes from this segment. Also, I need to say, for the East segment, I didn't talk about it when it was happening, but the paths I take are the quickest. I do not think it's possible to go to the lily pad quicker, and I know for a fact the Cat's Revenge is the fastest path.
We should search.
And getting here, I chose the fastest path. Uh, uh, a viable pathing option used to be going left, but that's like 2 or 3 seconds slower.
We need to collect
Going
as
on the right
many
is
magic
quicker.
charms as we can. The crystals.
And again, these notes will be in the description. If I'm not speaking
Twyla
clearly,
should be.
I'm not a great public speaker. And I will edit the sheet as new things are discovered or like um made simpler, I suppose. But it's pretty comprehensive. So here, you jump as soon as the water disappears from the middle. And I do the jump and you'll see. So it looks like you'll land in the water, but just as your feet hit, the water disappears. Pretty neat. The first segment here is just walking. You'll just be walking and going along the river. You only lose time if you're silly and try jumping.
Let's keep.
There's no way to go faster, and you only go slower if you take a risk for some reason. There's no reason to take a risk. You can't go faster if you tried. Now, I don't know what the jump is called, but it's a Barbie crystal jump. It's not like the Twyla jump. It
This
is
place is
easier,
beautiful.
but you still need to do it a certain way. So, the first large crystal is blue, so what you'll do is run against yellow,
Woohoo!
like head first, run against yellow, and then jump ASAP, and then go straight to red, and then basically just jump quickly after you land on red. This saves at the least 6
Keep
seconds,
going.
but potentially 20 seconds because of the way the grass cycles work. Basically, if you were to hit the
All right,
slowest
keep
grass cycle
going.
in a previous run, it would probably save 20 seconds. And I got that jump. I
Whee!
ran straight against yellow and just jumped to red ASAP after land on yellow. If you
Yay!
don't run against yellow, then you don't make the red. And see, you get the early grass cycle, and it's smooth as
I'm
butter.
spinning.
So depending on your previous goal, it
To
could
help,
say 6, 9, 12, or 20 seconds
you're
probably,
doing so well.
because there are two viable-ish grass platforms after
Keep
that. Like,
going.
you're not
We
completely
have to
screwed
get
if you
that
miss it, but it
elixir.
definitely saves a lot of time. And it's far easier to make two flats
Let's
than
keep
making it
going.
where one is
We have
sideways
to
or
find the
turning.
vial of
Because the others you
elixir.
have to make while one platform is turning. This is called Big Boy Jump. I did not get it. If I got this jump, I
Staying
would
on
have
this
saved
platform
30
will help you
seconds
through the
from
other
this segment.
side.
The way I do it is theoretically how it should be done. There is a video of someone getting it, but it's
Whee!
not here. And the video I had of it, I'm pretty sure I
Let's keep
deleted, like where I
going.
got it.
The elixir can't be too far
But it
away.
is possible to do. So you just turn sideways, go kind of in the middle-ish, and then jump. Like hit escape quickly after you jump.
We need to get to
You
the
can't
far
make it.
side so
And
we
that
can
changes the
ride the
whole cycle you
platform
get
up
up
to the
there.
next
It
pool.
changes every single cycle. And it's about 30 seconds faster than this pathing.
Wait,
Do not fall here. If you fall up in the water above, you teleport back down here. If you fall off the grass, obviously you teleport back to the start of the grass. The reset is very, very punishing. Do not fall. In the old world record, like the 5318, Spytex actually falls, and it's very heartbreaking.
all right, keep going.
Here, there's no way to go faster at all, really. This is just your cycle.
Monkey business coming in. Collect the
Because
gems and
that light
Speedrun
orange one that you see in the
TV.
background, that's the one you need to land on the other side. So no matter how quickly you try to get to the purple, you have to wait for it.
Brutus alert! Head for the
Sorry.
gems. Head for the Yay! We made
Water is for weaklings.
Uh-oh. Brutus
And
is
I'm almost done
down.
anyway. Oh,
You'll soon have the elixir in your hand,
no.
and the
Okay, never mind.
princesses will
It's a
be
few
able to
minutes up.
return to the king.
It is possible to like skip one of these fountains. I don't know how.
Way
I
to
think I did
go!
it in an old
Great
run,
jump!
but literally no idea how. I think you just have to be quicker back there.
Quickly! Woohoo!
Maybe jump off the light orange quicker. Not sure. Here, you can jump
Way
sideways.
to
It's very
go!
fun.
We
Doesn't save
cleared
much
that
time at all,
easy.
but makes you feel cool.
Wicked monkey on its way!
From here, it's pretty simple. There's only one more kind of trick, but it's not even a trick that's been done. Um, and you just land on buttons and like escape quickly and walk on platforms and not jumping. On that rock, it's a bit tricky. Just be very, very straight, head on. Do not try jumping at sideways at all. That is a place where you need to jump straight. And it's actually one
Looks
where
like
if you die, it's almost easier to make that jump
Brutus is
because it
loose.
takes you and
Time
it
to
sets you
smack it
exactly in the
from
middle
here.
of that rock. It's the only time in the game you have to jump on like an actual thing that looks like a
Monkey on its
real life
way.
rock.
Collect the gems to save the day.
Odd, for sure. The pathing doesn't matter much here because no matter what you do, you're still gonna have to wait for a platform,
Watch out!
whether you're
Hope
waiting
we
for the
can
yellow
step on
one
all the
or
gems.
waiting for the one uh connecting
Quickly,
to like the main
collect the
area. You know
gems.
what I mean.
Brutus is coming.
There's no way to really be faster here with the button presses. Maybe you can make that yellow jump. And I looked at it. I didn't try making it, but you see. I feel like maybe you could do it. I'm losing hope. It's possible, but like in my heart of hearts, I want it to be possible.
Come
Like just
on,
running
we need to
backwards and
hurry. We're
jumping,
gonna
you know?
find the elixir.
So, I'm going to have my splits at the end of this. My current sob is 4908. So sub 50 is definitely possible. However, um, I would consider a good run to be like a minute on the flute and maybe get like a 126 on birds. That would lose 15
Quickly,
seconds to sob
collect the gems.
immediately.
Brutus is
15
coming.
seconds. Actually, that's more like 18 seconds. You lose 18 seconds to sob. And after that, there's not a lot of wiggle room because You can't perform to your golds every time unless you just really grind a lot and get really lucky. So,
We need to get to the
while I
top
do
of these
think
crystals.
sub 50 might happen eventually, not promising it at
Almost
all.
there. Try again.
Um, it's definitely going to be difficult just because all the golds at this point are like when you perform perfectly,
Good choice.
which is the point of a gold, I guess. But
This
you'll have to be more punishing with the resets. And the reason
this
I was able to
Dance
get
Star
this
show
far
will look
is because I was a
beautiful.
lot more lenient with the resets. And I just kept going even when I felt really bad about the run. Because I am not a TAS and I make mistakes, even when I think I shouldn't make the mistakes. And I said it before, but if new tricks are added, I'll update the sheet. Also, my splits link will be in the description, and a link to the general gold sheet will be there too. If you want editing permission, just join the Barbie Discord and talk in that channel, because I don't want to add a rando without knowing you're in the Discord. And if you want more details on the setup for DX Wind, OBS Live Split, RTSS, let me know. Because I can go into more detail about that, but it's just kind of boring, and I only want to do that if someone's actually going to use it. And again, I'll have some live split up next to me I'm not looking at right now, but it should be close to 50-21. It might be 50-22 or 23 maybe at most, but I feel like it's pretty accurate. Bye.
Click here to go to the options screen to change the game settings.